All right, welcome to the inaugural episode of What the Huck Wednesdays. Now, I've been doing this periodically, kind of scattered, not consistent over the last couple of years, but I'm making a commitment today to do it every Wednesday. That's why we're going to call it What the Huck Wednesdays. We're going to have conversations about a variety of topics from culture to music and entertainment, health and wellness, entrepreneurship, and maybe a little political conversation every now and then. But today we're going to kick off with one of my good friends, and we're going to talk about culture up in Maine, Black culture to be specific. So let's get into it. All right, here we go. What the Huck? Huck is an acronym. Bet you didn't know this, Lisa. Huck, hope, understanding, community, and knowledge. That's what we're all about.
I did not know that. I just read it as it popped on the screen and I thought, wow, that's great. I love that.
So welcome to the inaugural episode of What the Huck Wednesdays. Now, you've been on before, so you're not new to this, or you're not new to What the Huck, but I'm glad to have you back to talk about everything Black Travel Maine.
Yes.
So let's start from the beginning. For those that may not know, you're the founder of the group Black Travel Maine. Tell us all about it. How did it come into existence? How did you birth that?
Well, as many of you know, I've been in the travel business for many years. I started my career actually in Connecticut, where I worked for almost 20 years. And then in '06, I started my own business and moved to New York. And from there, now I'm in Maine. And how did I end up in Maine? A lot of different reasons. COVID-19 happened right as I moved to New York City and shut down all of New York. And I was invited by a friend who had recently taken a job to visit her in Maine. And I thought, Maine, I'm in the travel business over 20 years. At that point, knew nothing about Maine except lobster, and thought, wow, what else did I have to lose? COVID was going on. I said, sure, let me visit. And I visited and I never left. Fell in love with Maine from that very first trip.
Wow. So you being in the travel industry, Maine never came up as a destination spot.
No, never.
So you kind of stumbled on this.
I stumbled on Maine, literally.
And you stumbled on something big when it comes to Black culture in Maine.
Yes. I stumbled on, there is so much Black history and culture in Maine, and they don't want you to know about it. And well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe they didn't want you to know about it, and it's kind of been whitewashed out, but there's over 200, did you hear me, houses and churches that were on the Underground Railroad. Our history is deep. They have found houses with tunnels in the underground tunnels that they have documented back to the Underground Railroad.
So there's a big misconception about New England in general that it's not a lot of Blacks up here. Now, I'm born and raised in Connecticut, New Haven. And I remember going to school, going off to college. And one of the biggest things I used to get when I first got to Pittsburgh in kind of Midwest, Ohio Valley area is that, man, I didn't know there were Black people in Connecticut. But, unbeknownst, there's a lot of Black history in Connecticut and New England. As a matter of fact, my family, my grandmother's roots are from Portland, Maine. So I have a lot of family in Portland. And as you discovered, a lot of Black history exists there. But people just don't know about it. They don't think about Black history being a part of New England.
Huck, your family played a huge part in Maine's Black history. So let's not downplay that. You actually come from a family that's 8 or 9 generations deep in Maine. And I know this because I've met a lot of your relatives. I've spent a lot of time with your relatives, and I love hearing their stories. In fact, your cousin Marita is my tour guide who does our Black History tour. And when she talks about the families, the Eastmans, I mean, I'm blown away by the history that she has, that is deep in Maine and all throughout Maine. And did you also know there's a map that I'm trying to get my hands on? I haven't gotten my hands on the map yet, but there's a map and there were all kinds of nigger, excuse my word, I'm not sure if I can say that, but N word goes all the way up the map. N town and this. But what we have discovered, that map, people fought, Gerald Talbot fought to have the map changed many years ago, and he was successful at it. I don't know how many people know about the Talbot family, but they're deep in politics. They're one of the Black families that really, in fact, Rachel Talbot Ross is the current, or just ended her term as the Speaker of the House, the first Black Speaker of the House in Maine, but her family has been instrumental in a lot of the law things in Maine, and one of them was having that map changed.
Yep.
But I'm trying to get a hold of that map now because guess what? That's the map to freedom.
Yeah.
That was the path that they used to get to Canada.
Yep.
So that's going to be a tour for Black Travel Maine's future. That's going to be a longer tour, but we are going to do a tour of the route to freedom.
Okay. Nice. So let's talk about, okay, so you stumbled on Maine, your friend invited you, you realized that there's a lot of Black history there. And what led you to create the group Black Travel Maine?
So basically, I was just enjoying Maine so much. And as I looked around, I didn't see a lot of tourists that look like me. And I wanted to know why that was and why, my friends who travel and, living in Connecticut for 18 years of my life, being so close to Maine, why aren't Black people traveling to Maine? We don't have to get on a plane. Did you know that Maine's license plate is vacation land?
Yeah.
It's called Vacation Land for a reason. It's so beautiful, and there's places that I can compare to places in Europe that just as beautiful, where you don't have to take that long plane ride. You can get in your car and drive to Maine. So I really wanted to know why our people did not know about Maine. And so I just started a group on Facebook, and I started to share photos and pictures of my experiences in Maine, and Black folks started chiming in and saying they didn't know it was safe to travel to Maine. And wow, we can go to Maine. And that's when I realized there's a problem. It was a problem that I could address.
And that's how I came across, that's how you and I connected. One, because, I'm a social media buff like you are. So when I saw this Black Travel Maine group pop up, I'm like, wait, what? Black Travel Maine? Who's doing that? And because of my connections to Maine, we were connected through a mutual friend.
Right.
And to find out that, you started this weekend, a Black Travel Maine weekend in August, a couple of years ago, that has now evolved into a lot of other events. So take us from Black Travel Maine, the creation as a group, to that first weekend that you started 2 summers ago.
So every August now, I do something that I call Meet Us in Maine. And all I'm doing is inviting people of color to join me in Maine, or anyone. It doesn't even have to be a person of color. It could be anyone who's an ally, anyone who just wants to learn about Black history in the North, anyone who wants to fellowship. So I just started with a Meet Us in Maine, and I just started sharing the history, the culture, and the beautiful people of Maine. And it started as a tour, and this past August was our second. And now we're coming on our second MLK weekend. This will be our second ski weekend. I started it last year, where we're actually taking over a mansion. We're taking over a mansion in Portland, where all of our events will be in the mansion. And we're also going to be skiing Sunday River this year. Last year we skied Sugarloaf. This year it will be Sunday River. So I also am exposing us, Black, brown, or anyone else interested in outdoor recreation. Outdoor recreation, to me, is my my drug of choice for my mental health.
Yeah.
And so Maine has so much outdoor recreation. I just went ATVing last weekend, and that was amazing. And I think everyone should try, some thrilling activities, or just get out into nature and hike. We also have a hike that we'll be doing on Black Friday.
Okay.
It's called Opt Outside on Black Friday. Opt
Hold on.
outside into nature instead of fighting those lines and shopping. Come outside with your family the day after Thanksgiving. Go on a hike with us. We're going to be hiking Bradbury Mountain. And then I have some new partnerships since I've been in Maine. We have a lot of great allies. Allagash Brewing is one of them.
Right.
And they're
Right.
going to be hosting us after our hike. We'll be going to Allagash for lunch and fellowship at their brewery. And so it's just about getting together with friends and family, getting out into nature, having lunch together, and just fellowshipping
Yeah.
on Black Friday instead of shopping.
Now, that's one of
Um,
the things about New England in general, that if you like outdoors, New England has a lot of destinations, from Connecticut all the way up to Maine. And fortunately, throughout the years, I've been blessed to, since I was a kid, because we used to take trips up to Portland with my parents to visit our relatives. But along the coastline from Massachusetts, the big spot for Blacks now is, the vineyard. Everybody likes to go to the vineyard. That's a thing. But we're creating a thing up in Maine. So another destination. And it's been a well-kept secret, basically because no one like you really put the word out about it being a destination spot, and the fact that there's a lot of Black history tied to Portland, Maine. So, kudos to you for, kind of stumbling on it, but more importantly, once you realize what was up there, spreading the word and making it a destination. So I'm looking forward to all of the events. So let me pull up the calendar and you could talk about this. We got, so you talked about Friendsgiving.
Yeah. So, Thanksgiving, it's just a lot of new people, Black, Brown, and others have moved to Maine. So this is a way to get people together who are new in Maine or don't have family or looking for community for Thanksgiving. BTM, Black Travel Maine, we're hosting our first Friendsgiving. It'll take place on Thanksgiving. You must RSVP for that to Lisa at blacktravelmaine.com, but we're doing it in Agunquit, Maine.
Okay.
And then the next morning we'll be hiking. We'll be doing the Opt Outside, which I just talked about, the Opt Outside hike. And then another one of my partners and a great ally has been the Maine Coastal Botanical Gardens. If you have not been, it's in Booth Bay. It's absolutely fabulous. They have invited us to a glow night where I'm bringing 50 of my closest Maine friends with us.
All right.
And we will be experiencing a glow night when they light up the gardens. Then on December 14th, I'm going to ask everyone to meet me in Kennebunkport for the Christmas Prelude. It's a big deal in Kennebunkport, Maine every year. And I want BTM to be represented this year. So we'll be doing that on December 14th. Then MLK ski weekend is back, January 17th to the 20th. It's an entire weekend of events starting on Friday with ice fishing. Then we'll be off to Allagash for our meet and greet. Then Saturday morning, we are skiing all day. Sunday, we're doing a Black History tour led by Marita McKenzie, an 8th or 9th generation Mainer.
Yep.
And she will be sharing her experience. And then after that, we're having a Black party that evening, Sunday night, with that is January 19th. And that's going to be with DJ Herman Ham. And a lot of Connecticut people know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great DJ. And we look forward to having him back. Then our summer tour will be back again for 2025. Meet us in Maine, August 1 to August 4. And then new to the lineup is sailing. I went sailing this past summer and I took 3 people with me. We had an amazing time. We will now be making that an annual sailing trip. If you've never done real sailing, I'm not talking about a cruise ship sailing. I'm talking about real sailing.
And this is for 3 days. So you're out on the water for 3 days sailing.
Yes, you're out on a schooner and it's beautiful wooden ship and it's real sails. We work there's a chef on board that prepares the meals. We either help out in the kitchen or you help out on deck. But this is a real sailing trip. And when I tell you what an amazing experience, we sailed to a private island where we had a private lobster feast.
Oof.
When I tell you, I can't wait to go sailing again. That was an incredible experience. The only issue I will warn people about sailing is that it's not like a cruise ship cabin. You thought the cruise ship cabins are small. You've never seen anything until you've seen a sailing ship cabin.
Yep.
Really tight. If you're claustrophobic, I don't know what to tell you, but it's tight. But when I tell you the most memorable experience I had, and the people who joined me will vouch for that, it was incredible.
Okay. Looking forward to that. And I love the water, so I'm definitely in for that. And to book, everybody, blacktravelmaine.com or email you.
Blacktravelmaine.com. Keep following us on Instagram. We're updating the website with all the packages for 2025 now. But in the meantime, you to keep following us. Reserve MLK Ski Weekend. We are almost sold out. So if you plan on joining us, now's the time to book that. Otherwise, I look forward to meeting you in Maine this summer. And Huck, I hope to see you there in January.
Ski weekend. I'm going to host. I'm putting it on my calendar. I'm going to be hosting with Herman Ham. We're going to do a New Haven thing, a Connecticut thing up in Portland, Maine. Hang out with my relatives up there.
We look forward to having you, your mom and your family. So please, we're thankful. You've been a big contributor to the growth of Black Travel Maine, introducing me to some folks up in Maine. Some of your family has really helped, and I appreciate what you've done. Thank you.
Teamwork makes the dream work. And follow you on social media. You have a Black Travel Maine Facebook page as well as Instagram, and your pictures, because you're very good at documenting your escapades in Portland, in Maine. So anybody that wants to get a glimpse of what's happening up there through Black Travel Maine, definitely go to the Black Travel Maine Facebook page or IG page and check it out. Now I'm going to continue to follow you. I live vicariously through you. And it's been a minute since I've been to Portland. So I promised my mom we're going to reconnect with my relatives up there. And we're going to make this an annual thing, a destination spot.
That's right.
The new destination, the new Black cultural destination of New England. Portland, Maine.
Whoever thought Maine? I certainly would have never thought, but I have to tell you, even for a young person looking for a new opportunity, consider Maine. Think outside of the box, people. Don't always go where everybody else is. There's a lot of opportunity in Maine.
You don't know what you don't know. And for a long time, people didn't know about Maine. People don't know really a whole lot about New England from a Black perspective, especially if you're not from New England. This again, that perception that there ain't too many of us up here. But let me tell you, a lot of us up here and a lot of history behind us up here as well. So Lisa, kudos to you. Looking forward to MLK Ski Week and looking forward to all the other events you have scheduled throughout the year as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
No doubt.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
And this is the inaugural edition of What the Huck Wednesdays.
What the fuck?